2.5 weeks ago, there was a set of empty blueprints. Today, there is a complete customer journey. I'm just at a moment of peace, of rest, of space. It's a very interesting place to be because the last 2.5 weeks has been one of fairly intense work. At that point, I had a set of 4 PDFs, the questions that go into marketing. And this is going to build out into software that I'm building. But I was talking with my small group, my mentors, the Trifecta. We'll call them the Trifecta. They are called the Trifecta. And I was like, you know what? I'm thinking about launching a small test product. And they questioned me and they said, dude, well, how long till the software? And I'm like, look, maybe 6, maybe 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks. I don't know. And they're like, well, how long to go live with the blueprints? And check this out. I thought 1 week. I'm like, yep, I got this 1 week. 1 week. That was a massive underestimation of the amount of work that it actually took to get here. But 2.5 weeks later, there is now a complete customer experience. The marketing got built out. Let's review what did happen. First of all, I built out the entire marketing plan. So that was the marketing blueprints, but it also then included the sales pages, the sales emails, the advertising, the products themselves, and the customer experience. So all of that got built out from the marketing, sales, advertising, products, customer experience. And then I was like, okay, well, I got to implement this. I got to get this out. And I realized that there was a second planning experience. You see, just having all the words and the scripts is one thing. It's extremely helpful. But then all of that needs to be tracked about where it's going to be deployed, which software it goes into, how it links together, what tools are required. I tend to use Kajabi, I use Zapier, I use Deadline Funnel, ScreenFlow. What else did I use? They're the main ones, I think. But tracking the deployment out to all of those pages, all of those emails, all of those ads, all of those campaigns needed to be planned first. And then after that was the execution. And over the last, I reckon it must have been about the last week, was the execution. And this was a little intense. Like, this was pretty full on with my team, like just making sure that we weren't getting in each other's way. I tend to be a bit like just go and also skip out on details. So some of my team were like, dude, I just assumed because you didn't specify. And I was like, no, okay, now let me specify it now. I want the downloads to be on the same page as the video training. So they had to go back and fix a few things. But overall, to go from no product, no customer experience, no marketing, no ads, through to all of that being done in 2.5 weeks is pretty cool. And you might ask, how did that get done? Well, the advantage that I had is that I already had systems for all of those things. I have a system for marketing, I have a system for sales pages, I have a system for advertising emails, systems for ads, systems for product development, and systems for customer experience. And you might say, well, did you create all of those? Well, yeah, I created the systems, but the knowledge was in books. $100 million offers, copywriting secrets, never lose a customer, and one more that you cannot get in a book called Strategic Seduction. You have to join Warrior for that. But I've been a Warrior a while. I know Strategic Seduction. And I'm excited for this. So I'm in this little gap right now where the initial emails have been sent out and the ads should begin shortly if Facebook approves them. And there's now just a waiting experience over the next 3.5 days until the close of this sale finishes. And come Sunday night at 11 p.m, it'll all shut down and there will be results. There will be a result out of this. And what I'm most excited about is showing up on Monday to look at those results and say, well, what worked, what didn't work, where am I at? And doing my analysis of it, my learning, my takeaways from this entire experience. How do we do it better next time? Because the speed of deployments seems to be quite slow out there. People taking 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, perhaps less. But also, even in the ones that are happening fast, they're forgetting things. And this comes down to a failure in those planning stages. So I wanted to share with you that in this experience of 2.5 weeks, the execution is only the third stage. The first is the planning of the content. The second was the planning of the execution. The third was the execution. And the fourth is the assessment of the results. With this is a weapon. This is a weapon for the right business that already has the ability to execute but is struggling with those first two planning stages. This means that, let's say it currently takes you 12 weeks, but now you can deploy in 3. You can launch 4 variants in the same time period. You could probably launch 6 variants of the same thing and loop them at once. Keep tracking of them, because the tracking is a very similar experience to the planning of the execution. You could also choose in those 12 weeks to actually launch 4 different products. You're like, whoa, hang on, let's take this idea to market, this idea to market, this idea to market, and this idea to market, while your competitor has launched 1. And you can start to identify the hyper-responsive, hyper-profitable areas in business so much faster because you can execute faster. So we'll see how this plays out. But I just wanted to share with you that there's this beautiful afternoon where everything is done. All of the execution has happened, and now it's just allowing the magic of Facebook ads to deploy out to the sales experience, and for those that buy into the customer experience. And I will get better at this. And this skill set of marketing architecture, the ability to do those first 2 planning stages, particularly the first one, because people struggle a lot with that, but creation of all of the content, and then secondarily the plans to deploy it. And then you can hand that to your teams and execute cleanly. Everything gets done, everything gets tracked, and then it's wait and see what the results are. Once you get the results back, then make any adjustments and loop again. So I wanted to share with where I'm at the moment. I'm excited for this. If you do want to check it out, head over to systemio.dev. You're looking for Rosetta Stone, Marketing Mastery. And let's see how this plays out. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's session. Even the identification of those 4 areas that are required to deploy a new product experience for your customers. The planning of the content, the planning of the execution, and the assessment. All right, that's all I got for you today. You go have an awesome day. I'm going to go hang out in Threadbow. go play some frisbee golf, or actually I think my kids want to go to the water slides, so we'll go to the heated pool. I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode as we continue this journey into the power of systems to create results. See you then.